Welcome everyone. Should we get started? What do you say? Should we get started? Let's do this. Okay. Welcome everybody to Small Business Big Moves, harnessing the AIPRM and ChatGPT power combo webinar for AIPRM. My name is Garrett Sussman. I work with AIPRM. I'm also part of the iPull agency, demand generation manager. So I am so excited. We are going to talk about so many interesting things today when it comes to this tool, what you can do, the limitations, the opportunities, everything to take into consideration. What do I do? I'm a prompt enthusiast. So like most of us, right? Like obviously, we're probably familiar with machine learning in some capacity, but ChatGPT really came around in November. We'll talk about that in a minute. And so this whole idea of working with these chatbots, these LLMs, the large language models, is really new for a lot of us, right? It's not even a year. It's changing the way people do businesses. This is a small business marketing webinar. So if you are already using it for your small business marketing, you know what I'm talking about. It saves you so much time. And so we're going to kind of go into the ins and outs of what that means. So I'm a prompt enthusiast because I don't want to use prompt engineering. I'm going to use it in the webinar, but it is one of those funny terms that makes it sound much more complicated. Anyone can write prompts. There are nuances about how to make a prompt super effective, and there are ways to improve upon it, but there's a lot of trial and error iteration on this, and having these prompt templates to make your workflow easier is so huge, especially if you're using AIPRM and ChatGPT in your day-to-day. So welcome everybody who's coming in. We've got all different industries covered. We've got people all over the world. This is going to be a very interactive webinar. We're going to go through some of these prompts, and I'm going to ask you in the chat room to participate. So be ready. I'd love to use some of your use cases to try this out. So AIPRM and ChatGPT 2022 to the present. So the generative AI timeline. Basically, ChatGPT launches in 2022. Burst onto the scene like a caffeinated squirrel at a nut convention. ChatGPT can actually be pretty funny writing copy. January 2023, first mover Christoph Kemper started up AIPRM, and the goal was to build these one-click prompts, these prompt libraries that businesses and SEOs and developers could use to streamline their workflow. Because for most of us, if you are using ChatGPT for the first time, you look at the screen and it's blank. It's like if you're an artist and you have a blank canvas, or if you're a writer and you have a blank draft, and you're like, where do I even begin? We had to learn how to use it in the first place. And honestly, one of the best ways to learn it was just to ask, hey, ChatGPT, I am, in this business. How do I use you? And just see what it says. But over time, we're learning to become more effective with this large language model. And so what does the future look like? Well, it's still early on. And so for all of you who are here in this webinar, you're very, very smart people, if I'm being honest, because the truth is AI generative content isn't going anywhere. It's not perfect yet, right? Like there are still a lot of problems and limitations that we need to be aware of and address, but it's getting better. It's getting faster. It's getting more effective. It's getting more reliable. And what we'll see over the next year, 2 years, 5 years is going to blow everyone's mind. So regardless of whatever industry you're in, whatever you do, and most of us are marketers. I mean, it's a marketing website, webinar. Being able to understand how to use this tool is going to be so important to your future career. Or if you are a business owner and you're trying to run everything yourself, it's going to give you so many ways to generate visibility for your business that might be kind of out of your element. I mean, if you're a plumber and you're not a marketer, ChatGPT and AIPRM can save you so much time and be so effective. So the first thing, what we're talking about at AIPRM, and one of our big movements at the company is democratizing AI, but bringing it into a corporate environment, right? So if you we did a study and we've got it coming out shortly. So keep your eyes peeled. A state of generative AI report where there still is more and more people who are starting to use AI at their business. A lot of people are using it as an individual level, right? They're doing it by themselves, but more and more businesses are bringing it in. However, there are businesses that are still scared about using generative AI and running into any sort of the problems that you might see, potential plagiarism or, brand reputation or things like that. Now, as it becomes more and more mainstream, it's going to be more accepted and more adopted. And for that reason, it's so important to have your generative AI policy and training. So I'm just curious to ask the audience now, how many of y'all here use ChatGPT and AIPRM for your business and actually have like a policy for employees around using AI? How many of you are actually providing training for your employees to use AI to make sure that it's on brand, that make sure that they're checking for quality assurance? Let me see in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Are you using a policy for generative AI when you're using your business? Are you training your employees? Because even if you're not, that's something you want to think about sooner rather than later. And for my first special little like gift to y'all, a lot of people are doing this solo, like Doug. Okay, so first gift I want to give it to y'all is, guess what? There's a prompt for that. I created a prompt because remember, so Chat GPT, large language model, AIPRM is a prompt library that helps you manage your prompts, create lists and teams to share those prompts with your employees or use it solo to do all of these marketing, sales, customer support activities. So we're going to hop over to my live and we'll be doing a live demo of all of this. Okay. So either way, so with all of you who are just using it by yourselves or your solos and you imagine like growing your business to 1,000 employees, you're going to need a policy at some point anyway, right? So I created a prompt that is a generative AI company policy. And so basically what you'll put in there is a list of approved generative AI tools, who's in charge of the policy. So like the person that should be vetting the quality assurance, how permissive are you going to be about using AI? Are you going to be fully permissive, like only moderately permissive, restrictive, prohibitive? And what industry are you in? So naturally, I mean, all y'all are here. It's going to be ChatGPT and AIPRM. Let's say, okay, someone give me a name for who's going to be, because we want to run this prompt and see how it works, right? So someone give me a name in the chat of who can be our contact name for our fictional AI quality assurance person at our fictional company for this policy. I'm going to look, see if we got anything in the chat. And if everyone's feeling too shy, then I will just go and make okay, Bob Barker, Santiago, too soon. Oh man. Okay. So Bob Barker, and I was a big Price is Right fan back in the day before Drew Carey. Oh, Tony Stark would have been a good one too, DJ. Okay. Now I need an industry. Someone give me the industry that is using the generative AI tools. Hey, Mesh from Puerto Rico, welcome in. Fred Flintstone, Hulk Hogan, a lot of good options for this. Okay, fintech I saw from Wakiza, sorry. All right, we'll do fully permissive. And then finally, I need a business name. Can someone give me a fictional business name for our generative AI policy? Let's see, a fictional business name for a fintech company. Let's see. It's so fun to do these like interactive chats, but the chats get so quick. Oh, I like that, Casper. Let's do bricks. Okay, so press enter. And so here we go. Right out at the gate, we start to get this generative AI policy. And that's what I love about the AI PRM prompts. There are two kind of major values that we'll talk about over the course of this webinar. One is creating your own prompts to use and reuse, because I strongly feel that it's important to have prompt templates, but to customize them as specifically as you can for your use case. And then the other one is using the library and curating a list of prompts that other people have built that are so good that you can just use for your business. So you can see everything that it goes through of what you need to consider, who's authorized. And one of the themes that we'll talk about here today in this webinar is how important it is to edit the output from ChatGPT and AIPRM. No matter how high quality your prompt is, editing is such an important skill. So there you go. It's got placeholders for stakeholders. It's got placeholders for things you need to consider when it comes to who's in charge of it, who can use it, like technical components. So this is a pretty great foundation to start your own internal generative AI policy. Now, if we go back, we also have one for training. And so, Aaron, if you can drop the links to those prompts in the chat, but don't worry, this webinar is recorded, so we will be able to follow up with these prompts that you'll be able to have via email, and you'll be able to rewatch this entire video and do it yourself. The other one is for training. The training one, you'll be able to do it like based on, what department you're doing in. Here's the training one. So you'll see, and I'll show you how I build out some of these variables. But like for the marketing department, same sort of thing. Permission level, industry, who's in charge, what they're allowed to use. Cool. So talking about generative AI policy and training, and I'll take questions at the end too. So feel free to leave questions in the chat. Aaron here is capturing them, and we will address them in the last like 15 minutes or so. So as we're talking about AI and your business, there are three main things we're going to talk about today in this webinar. Engineering prompts, like how do you build really good prompts? How do you build lists? So like how do you find the right prompts, put them into a list so you can access them over and over? Because I don't know if y'all know, but AIPRM's got over 3,600 some prompts in the library at this point. So you could lose your prompts pretty easily. So building those lists are going to make it easier to integrate AIPRM into your workflow. And then finally, teams, how you can build your team and then share your prompt lists with those team members so everyone at your org can use it. And for those of you who are running solo consultants, like if you're transparent about using AIPRM, you could use this for your clients. Like you could share a prompt list and share a team with your clients. You could share it with other solo consultants if you all are working together, like in a mastermind group, and you're trying to, level up your use of ChatGPT. Be the person that builds a team and then share those prompts with everyone in your team. They'll generally appreciate it. If you are a teacher or a student, you can use it. For students, if you got a big project coming up, you can use that. I know we're talking marketing, but we did see our student in there earlier. So, oh no, it is covering some of the text in the slide, isn't it? Okay, let's see if I don't think I can move it around. That's kind of a bummer. You know what, we'll do it. That's a good call out though. What we'll do is, that's too small now, right? That's totally too small. That's okay. Let me move over. Oh, I know how to do this. That should be better. Oh, it didn't look okay. And we got it. Boom. Look at me. I'm like flying from sides to sides to sides. Justin, I used a combination of Canva and ChatGPT for these, actually. Maybe to the top right of the screen. It's not a bad idea too. I think this should work. I know my face isn't the most important thing anyway. We gotta see the prompts. We gotta see what's working here. So does the client need AIPRM in order to share the prompt list with them? Yeah. So Vaughn, that's a great question. They would need AIPRM because you'll basically give them a link and add them to your team. And then to access it, they would have to have the extension installed so they could then see the prompts on ChatGPT. So building prompts, building lists, creating teams. So the first thing with prompt engineering, who here has written their own prompt? Who here has written a prompt either just in ChatGPT and put some time and effort into it, or actually made a private prompt in AIPRM? What have you all made prompts about? I've been having so much fun over the last few months making prompts. Yes, PVM, we do have a how to, we'll get to it, but Aaron, if you can drop the tutorial, in our tutorials, we have how to create lists and how to create teams. Oh, Kristen's building a ton. That's awesome. Brad's doing it. Masami's doing it. Okay, awesome. Path to wellness. Everyone. Okay, people are making the ball. So this is what I really want to get into before we look at the prompt library and save our prompts to a list is building your own prompts, because that's why a lot of y'all are coming to AIPRM, is not only to use ChatGPT, but to build these prompts and then save them and reuse them over and over and over and over again. So when you are building a prompt, yes, you can say, hey, ChatGPT, make me a blog about golfing. Cool. Boom. And that's it. And you might get some sort of high quality like content, but it's not going to be specific. It's not going to hit every note that you want. It's not going to be exactly what you're looking for, because the prompt is vague, and the ChatGPT, the large language model, doesn't have all the information it needs to really do exactly what you want it to do. So when we're thinking about prompt engineering, when we're thinking about building your own prompts, we think about it as stacking these different elements together. Now, you don't need to do all these elements, but the more specific you are, the better you are at communicating what you're trying to get, the better the output you'll get from ChatGPT. So for instance, I usually start with the role, and we've all seen this. If you've done anything, read anything about ChatGPT, a lot of you have seen this, like act as a blank. That's the role. You're basically setting the stage for what type of context, which we'll get to later, but like what type of person, what type of persona you want ChatGPT to imitate, to be like, to act like. And that could be anything, right? It could be a copywriter, it could be an expert marketer, like all of us in here. It could be a business owner in a specific industry. It could be an SEO. It could be anything, right? But it's good to determine what you want ChatGPT to be as, to set the stage for how ChatGPT is going to take that information and have it inform the output, right? So the role is the first thing. Second is context. What is the situation that it's creating for? So for instance, one example of context is if you are writing something for your business, like a product for, a dog groomer, right? Like you sell leashes, or maybe you are a salon and you have a certain type of haircut, or maybe you are an accountant and you prepare certain type of taxes for a target audience. Providing all of that context, letting ChatGPT know, okay, I work with single family homeowners in real estate, and I am based out of Ohio, and letting ChatGPT have that context will help them inform whatever task you want them to execute. Task could be, what specifically do you want it to do? So when we're talking in marketing, this could be something like writing a blog post, writing a social media post, writing an email, writing an SEO meta title or meta description. What exactly are you looking for ChatGPT to produce? And then what is the format? Like, what do you expect it to look like? If I say a blog post, the blog post could be anywhere from 1,500 words to 3,000 words or 500 words. It could be big or small, providing like information about the format that you're looking for. If I'm writing an email, I want a subject line. I want, a salutation. I want an intro paragraph. I want a body, and then I want a signature, right? Like that's the format you want to think about. Examples. Give an example. So when we're tuning ChatGPT, when we're explaining to it exactly the output that we want, if you can show an example of a tweet, well, I guess we don't call them tweets anymore for those of you who are following the Elon Musk X Twitter drama. But if you're looking for a post on the X social media platform, you could give a few different examples of what you're looking for, so the ChatGPT understands what you're expecting. And then finally, constraints. And this is a key thing, right? Constraints are basically telling ChatGPT what not to do, exactly what you want it to avoid. So for instance, an example of a constraint is I don't know why ChatGPT does this, but you'll ask it for an email, and a lot of times it'll desperately want to put an emoji in an email. Same with social media. A constraint might be don't put any emojis in my social media output, right? So, to give an example of like a very well formulated prompt, I'm going to switch back over and we're going to pop over to this email marketing campaign, write an email marketing campaign. And I actually built this out in AIPRM. And so in the prompt template, we'll go out through how to build this, but you can take all this information. So you'll see here the role, the task, the context, the format, include that all in your prompt. So, and for y'all, we are going to share examples. There is actually a tutorial guide where I go through a lot of this as well in terms of how to create a prompt that Aaron can. Oh, you got to create a team. How you can create a prompt in the chat. So let's take a look at this. So this is my how to or asking ChatGPT to create an email marketing campaign. So the way I approach this is in the role, act as an email marketing expert. Task, write a variable. And so actually, so I got to ask you guys, have you ever used Mad Libs before? Does anyone remember Mad Libs? I know it's still around. I'm going to show my age here, but it was very popular when I was in school. So Mad Libs is where you have this little story and then it basically asks you to fill it out and replace, like, fill in a noun and fill in an adjective and fill in a person. And so what you're doing is you put that in not knowing what the story is about, and then you get the really funny outcome. Aaron, you should share a link to Mad Libs if you can. So Mad Libs is this idea of kind of a fill in the blank to make really funny stories. Well, these prompt variables at AIPRM are very similar. It's like you're creating your own Mad Libs that either the public or your employees or yourself can fill in so it makes your prompts more reusable. So for instance, in this example, write a blank email marketing campaign for my business, blank in the blank industry about blank in blank. Provide a recommended cadence for the email. The way this works is this is basically in AIPRM asking for the number of emails in the marketing campaign for my business, which is named variable 2, in the blank industry, about whatever my email marketing campaign is going to be about. And you can actually see down here how I build out these variables. You basically just need to use the specific format, and we have a tutorial coming soon about how to use variables and how those formats exist. There is a link in the forum on how to do that. Aaron, if we can grab the link to the forum on how to use variables for the time being. But you can see here for variable 1, I have the placeholder number of emails. Variable 2, the business name. Variable 3, the industry. Variable 4, the email copy framework, which is really cool. So in marketing, for those of you who do email marketing, you might have the PAS, which is the problem, agitate, solve framework, the AIDA, which is the attention, interest, desire, action framework, or just storytelling. And then variable 5, email length, short, medium, long. And so then, as we've seen, when I then go ahead and set up the prompt here, you can see all those variables: number of emails, business name, industry. And so that's what you'll then be able to fill out and reuse over and over again, because emails are one of those things that we're going to be, if you're a marketer, you're creating a lot of. So let's do it. Let's all do it together. We're going to do an email marketing campaign. And I want to know, and you guys can all split it out. I'll pick and grab, but I need someone to give me the number of emails we should do. I need someone to give me a business name. I need someone to give me the industry. I need someone to give me a, email copy framework. And I need someone to give me what the campaign should be about. So let's drop those in the chat right now. So we can put this in. Okay, so everyone is going, they're submitting, everyone's like typing, 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 thinking about what they want to include. And let me know too in the chat if this is helpful, if there are any questions coming up as I go through this, because I realize this is a lot of great and fun information. Okay, so we've got industry, real estate. Okay, we're going to do storytelling. Thank you, Bill. How do we get to the homepage to see that prompt? Aaron is going to drop a link to the prompt in the chat. Okay, let's see. Let's see. We've got 3 emails. Thank you, Blair. Okay, I need a business name for real estate industry and what a campaign should be about. Oh, yeah. Hermosi sideline. We got a Alex Hermosi fan in here. Okay. Hermosi's sideline. And what do we want the email to be about? We will do the email about selling single family homes to suburban home suburban. So this is going to be really cool. Let's see what happens. And there's the link in the chat from Aaron that you can use and try it out yourself. Fingers crossed on this. Okay, so we've got the cadence. That's what I love about this email. And for this one, for those of you who are using ChatGPT, this is 3.5. I'll go with ChatGPT 4 for that's on the plus plan for the rest of these. I personally do find a significant difference in quality. Not all LLMs are created equal. We like being able to ask for a prompt in GPT 3.5 versus GPT 4 versus Google's Bard or Anthropic's Claude all produce different results, right? So just to show like how different that is, and we'll take a look at this in a second. Discover your dream home in the suburbs, transforming suburban living. Your new home awaits. And it tells you like the introduction and the problem identification, subject lines, a first email that's an introduction and problem identification. Then it goes into solution and discovery. And these are really great short little emails. Suburban living offers you and your family the space to grow and thrive. Okay. And so you can see the difference in output. So I had a prompt that I set up that I want to show y'all to show the difference from GPT 3.5 versus 4. So I did this one for writing just a simple SEO meta description and meta title for a starting a garden in South Carolina, right? So here's my one. It's got all of the different prompt engineering elements. Starting a garden in South Carolina. Okay, pretty straightforward, not bad. Now let's see what happens when I go back and I switch over to GPT-4. It gives us a little more context. It formats it differently. It's actually a little bit more interesting than the first version. Interesting. And it actually gives us some notes on how to improve it. And then we've got Bard, which is Google's version. And coming soon, you will be able to use and eventually AIPRM in the other large language models like Claude for the open source ones. So here's what it looks like in Bard. Ooh, Sebastian's like data analysis, even better. Oh man, okay, so here's a good lineup for Bard. And then from Claude, so this is cool. Actually, look at Bard's. What Bard does is it actually breaks down the character count. That's pretty impressive. Makes sense, Google being a search engine. Oh, they're not able to see the links for some reason, Aaron. That is interesting. Okay, well, sorry for all of you who aren't able to see the links in the chat. We will send them out via email with the replay. So don't worry, we'll definitely get them to you, even if you can't do this right now in the chat. And then we'll do Claude. So this is what happens. Claude is another large language model that's free. You can just go to claude.ai to try that out. It's interesting. Claude.ai is a lot more similar to like kind of ChatGPT 3.5 in my opinion. I'm actually impressed with Bard on that one, that they were doing the character count. Anyway, have you all tried the different ones as well? Oh, I know. That stinks, Visible. Like, just I know working in SEO and Google, the idea that some things are only rolled out to the US or to the UK before all of these other countries. It does not seem fair. Okay, so moving on. One thing I want to call out as well is for building your own prompts. You can use ChatGPT to actually help you with prompts. One thing that I think is critical is that you make sure that you are editing your prompts and that you're editing your output, right? So you can put in here, like, write a prompt for create a marketing blog post that can be used over and over and follow this format, and then go through all of these different elements and then get the output from ChatGPT. Like in this example, it gives me the role, it gives me the context, it gives me the tasks, it gives me the format, it gives me the examples and the constraints. And then you can start to modify it to improve it exactly how you want. One thing I've noticed is sometimes when you're building prompts, it requires a lot of testing. You might run a prompt, think it's going to do exactly what you're looking for, and the output isn't there. So you add a constraint to it. And if you want to think about constraints and what to add, you can ask ChatGPT for that too. For instance, I asked in this example, what are a list of constraints that someone might want to use in their prompts to get better outputs? And ChatGPT gave me this great list that I might want to consider. Specificity, context constraints, the question type, domain, time period, audience, word limit, the prompts that you have that has variables, so we can make it, yeah, I can do that. It might be a long text actually, Brad, but let me give it a try. Let's see what happens. Okay, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. There you go, guys. It's all 5 different like messages that you can like copy and paste. But that should work. Okay, cool. But that's just an idea of how you can kind of build out your own prompts. Yeah, no problem. So I want to try a couple more prompts that I built. And one thing that we'll do is when we get to teams, I have this special My Marketing Prompts library that I built for y'all for the webinar. And I will share the link in the email as well. So you'll get access to all of these prompts curated just for you. All of you will be able to join my team and be able to have access. And that's the whole idea behind teams, is like an easy way to share the specific prompts that you want to use. So we'll do a couple more of these. A complete small business plan. Let's go through it from the audience. Can someone give me an industry? This one's a little more comprehensive. The industry, the business location, the products and services, and what makes your product or service unique, the goals, and the annual marketing budget. We'll say 1 million. Oh, yeah, sure, Wakiza. Aaron, can you share? So it's basically if you go to AIPRM and you click on the prompts link in the navigation, pub quiz. Okay. Oh, and I need a URL. So let's actually go and grab a URL from let's see what the industry someone put it in. How does GPT know how to generate prompts for, say, Midjourney, as it was born earlier than Midjourney? Visible. So my recommendation for having ChatGPT create Midjourney prompts is actually priming it by giving it details about Midjourney. So going over to Midjourney, getting Midjourney's documentation, pasting that into your prompt, and then asking it. And those are the most effective Midjourney prompts that I've seen, have actually taken that sort of strategy where you're, to your point. So for those of you who aren't familiar, to Visible Soul saying is ChatGPT was only trained on data up until 2021, right? So anything that's happened since then, like the birth of Midjourney, didn't exist in the training data for ChatGPT. So it wouldn't know how to reference it. It would predict it, but it wouldn't actually know. So what you need to do in that case is you need to give it the context in your prompt. And in this case, the context would be the best ways to use Midjourney in terms of its parameters and its best practices, and then ask it to produce the prompt. So you create that prompt template, and then with that knowledge, ChatGPT can execute some really awesome Midjourney prompts. Okay, so Casper says in road bikes in Ireland. Okay, we got Ireland, industry, products and services, road bikes. I guess we'll technically call that fitness. We'll say the road bikes are indestructible. I can type. Bulls sell more bikes. This example actually uses live crawling. So I'll explain how that works in a second. But let's say Irish road bikes. Let's see what we get. We do have a website, Irish Cycles. There we go. Okay, so this is cool. We're going to take Irish Cycles, which looks like it has no content on there. Not a good example for live crawling. 51 bikes. Because basically the way that live crawling works, and this is on our elite plan, is it can go to a URL and it can take the written text content from the URL and inform ChatGPT with that information, so it has that context that we keep talking about included in the prompt. So when I come back to our example, we are going to do a complete small business marketing plan for 51 bikes, which is in the fitness industry in Ireland. They sell road bikes. The road bikes are indestructible, which I guess I didn't spell right, but they have $1 million annual marketing budget and they want to sell more bikes. Okay, fingers crossed that this executes exactly how I want. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. Increase the sales of 51 bikes with focused approach on the unique selling proposition of offering budget 1 million euros, because we're in Ireland, right? So we're not going to use dollars. Silly American. Target audience, cool fitness enthusiasts and biking aficionados in Ireland, individuals looking for a durable road bike option. Mission statement: to provide cyclists in Ireland with high quality, indestructible road bikes that ensure a safer and more enduring bike experience. KPIs, what are the key performance indicators? Is sales growth, custom satisfaction, website traffic, social media engagement, all really important metrics that you'll want to track as a marketer. Market research, giving you some step-by-step guides on what you should do. Because remember, even if we provide the content from the website to ChatGPT, this version doesn't have internet access. So sometimes it might hallucinate and make stuff up. That's why you always want to fact check and make sure you go through your content that's produced by ChatGPT. So basically what I'm saying is, if I'm writing the blog for a customer, I might as well tell AIPRM to use the content on that specific blog. Absolutely. I think positive affirmation, anything that you can do to inform ChatGPT with more information is going to improve the output. So annual marketing budget, content initiatives and strategies. So like blog posts makes sense. Video content, especially for bikes, makes a lot of sense. Social media, run social media campaigns highlighting customer stories and the unique selling proposition. Plans need for contributors and their responsibilities. Super cool questions. So you can see how comprehensive and cool and helpful this information can be. So coming back to our slide deck, remember, with any of this, to positive affirmation's point about blog writing, editing is so important. I had to pull these quotes. So these are from, I'm going to come back to the other version, throw myself back over there, so I'm not covering the link. But from John Doherty over at Editor Ninja, had a bunch of things about editing, and it said, I am a lousy copywriter, but I am a good editor. So I go to work editing my own draft. After 4 or 5 edits, it looks good enough to show to the client. David Ogilvy. And then you can always edit a bad page. You can't edit a blank page, Jody Picoult. So that's why AIPRM and ChatGPT is so helpful for creating content. right? But one thing that I always recommend is the plagiarism checker. Always make sure, best practice, no matter what comes out of the ChatGPT output, is to check it for plagiarism. You would do that with freelancers. You would do that with your in-house employees. You should always do that. There's a free plagiarism checker for Grammarly. Moving myself back over there so you can do the links. Only moderators can apparently. It's raining here in Virginia. Sorry for the lightning and the thunder in the background. So in terms of asking about the live crawling, it can't browse the internet. What it does is you provide the URL. Like right now, ChatGPT can't really browse the internet either. The only ones are like Bing and Bard. But it can do the URL live crawling where it gets the content. The thing that's better about live crawling than, say, just browsing the internet is when you're using something like Bing or something like Bard, you can't decide specifically what URL you wanted to check and test. So with live crawling, you have a lot more. Oh, Alexandria's got blue skies. Well, out in Northern Virginia or Northwest, it's a little dark. Anyway, you can actually with live crawling look at a specific live crawling URL and get content from that page. And that's why it's so useful. So moving on as we're going through these prompts, and I want to make sure that we get to creating a list and creating a team, because that's why a lot of y'all are here, is the marketing prompts, using it for strategy, planning, ideation, content creation, and editing. So if we go back to live demo, another example would be for social media posts, right? So this one is a little simpler. All we need is a business name, which is a business type. So someone give me a business name and what type of business they are, and I'll put it in there. And one thing I want to highlight in here as well, and this is another premium feature, is that whenever you use AIPRM, we have these tone and writing styles, which allow you to actually pre-train ChatGPT to output in a specific type of style or tone that you want. So for instance, if I want my output for the social media to be friendly and I want the writing style to be informative, I can preset that up without having to write in, make the output friendly and informative every single time I do it. So Doug's got Dane Holmes, which is a realtor. Dane Holmes. Okay, so we'll go Dane Holmes is a realtor. Okay. We're going to get 30 media posts and image suggestions with one click. This is so cool. You ready? Y'all ready for this? And they're going to be friendly. And they're going to be, let's do friendly and informative. Okay. And that's the other cool thing is, like, if you are an agency and you're trying to get your name out there, if you're building prompts, you can put in your own website link in the prompts. You can, kind of self-promote in your prompts as well. It's a great way to generate leads and clients from your generative AI production in the form of doing prompts. So here we go. Look at this formatting, and this is from merchant.com. Really cool prompt. And they have a bunch of Google Business Profile prompts. But talking about diving into the heart of our vibrant community with Dane Holmes, your trusted realtor. So what would make this even better, Dane? Or Doug, Doug Dane? Is another feature that we have on AIPRM is custom profiles. So say, for instance, you want these social media. We gave in this example, like what the name of your business is and the type of business, but it's not getting specific to Dane Holmes, right? Like we want to be able to get all the information about your business into the output. So that's what custom profiles actually does. And what you can do there, you can do one on the free plan. You can do multiple custom profiles on the paid plan, but you can go ahead and choose, and this will install information. Let me show you how you can go about and put in these custom profiles. So you go to your account. So top right corner for all of you watching at home, click on your account, and then you go to manage my profile information. And so here is where you can start to do all these really cool custom settings that save you so much time to pre-train AIPRM and ChatGPT to basically put this information into the prompt and have it output exactly what you're looking for. So I have a couple examples here. One is specifically for AIPRM. So if you run any sort of service industry, any details about your business, you can add to this custom profile. If you're, writing a lot of content for a specific product, all the value proposition, description of the product, and everything you have about the product that would be useful, you can create a custom profile for that. So then when you do a prompt and you're like, do it about my Irish road bikes, model X27GL, you've already got that in a custom profile. So you don't have to add that in there. It'll all be integrated into the output. Really cool. Really cool. Has anyone here tried a custom profile yet? And one other feature, as you get to more of our advanced plans, like the Plus plan or Elite, you can do custom writing styles. You get those default ones on the Plus plan, but on the Pro plan, as you get higher, you can actually add your own writing styles. So in this example for writing style, I added that I wanted with the humor of Ryan Reynolds. And this was all, as I mentioned, when you click and you're in ChatGPT, and you're in your AIPRM account, you have that connected in that top right-hand corner. When you click on the AIPRM account and then you go to your settings, this is where you can change all that stuff. So the writing styles, the tones, you can add tones, you can add writing styles on the paid plan. And then the power continue is another one I want to show you all that's really cool. So power continue is something that you can do. Let's go back to the output. So we did our, what do you call it? Like we do our social one, right? So we do, for Twitter, and we do it for road bikes, or we'll do it for SaaS software. I'll show you the actual example with ChatGPT and AIPRM custom profiles. Let's include some emojis, and the featured product or service is our prompt library with some profiles, and then AIPRM. Oh, good. I'm so happy that this is helpful. I definitely want to save time for the end, but we're running through it. I'm running out of time. So for those of you who won't be able to stay after the hour, because I know this is set for an hour, we will be running another webinar in the future that covers more in depth a lot of these features. So just to show real quick, custom profile adds that in there, creates all these Twitter posts. It gives us the strategy, the keywords to focus on, the themes. And so when this is done producing, sometimes you want to do more and have the output be edited or be changed. And so for that, AIPRM has this power continue feature. And what that allows you to do is with preset power continues, you can actually choose to clarify, to exemplify, to expand, to explain what ChatGPT just produced. And then on our premium plans, you can actually create your own custom power continues, which I've done, which are like removing cliches or removing adverbs. So it's a really cool feature to just save you time. So you don't have to go, okay, ChatGPT, go ahead and remove all the cliches in a certain way at the certain time in the certain location. So we have this output. Now we have all these power continues. And let's say I want them to just rewrite it or remove the cliches or the adverbs or just shorten. So we're going to go ahead and shorten. And this is really great for like longer blog posts or when ChatGPT does social media, but it's too long. So now you can see shorter versions of all of these social media posts. Super cool. Okay, so I want to make sure that we do have some time to go through how to build your prompt list. So for those of you who are just getting started with ChatGPT and AIPRM, one of the most important features is this prompt management, the ability to build lists. So there are existing lists that come with AIPRM when you start. You've got this favorites list. On the premium plans, you have the verified AIPRM prompts that have been looked over by our team to make sure that they are top quality. Because outside of that, everyone is producing a bunch of prompts, but they haven't always been vetted by our professional team. You have public prompts that everyone can create. And remember, you can search for any type of prompt in here. It's really fun to play with. If you have a moment, take the time to look through all the different topics, like obviously for us, marketing, SEO, the activities. So everything from places and media channels to products, to product descriptions, to research. Really cool. Sorting by how popular they are. Yeah, Nick, you can create your own prompts. So in our tutorials, we covered it a little bit. So definitely rewatch the replay. But in our tutorials, we have a how to create your own prompts. And in this section, this is where all your prompts exist, right? So I built a list with all of my favorite marketing prompts. And I'm going to invite you all to my team so you can access these prompts. So you don't have to go through and look through the library of 3,000 prompts and find all the best ones that Garrett uses for his own marketing. And these are things, everything from like writing a blog to getting a content calendar to creating viral TikTok content to actually doing a customer journey. And I threw in there my generative AI company policy and a few others that I have built out. So there's 20 in total there. And then hidden prompts are ones that you want to avoid altogether. Now, if you want to build your own list, and there's about 16 prompts per list that you build, custom lists are available on those premium plans. You can build one, I believe, on the free one. Tibor will give the specifics. But you just come to the top right here and you click add list, right? So we're going to do small business webinar list, right? You'll see here the share with team. Once you do actually build out your own team, you'll be able to share whatever list you build with other employees, with friends, however you want to share a list. So I'll create my list, and then all of a sudden, boom, small business webinar right there. Okay, so now if I want to add prompts that I like to this list, I'll go to the public and I'll say, oh, the most popular prompt, the best one is this human written, 100% unique SEO optimized article. So if I want to add this to my private list, I'll just click this icon with the squares and the plus, right? Plus add the prompt. And then it'll give me the different options of the lists I've created. So now if I just click on small business webinar list and I click add to list, now when I pop over to the small business webinar, boom, there it is, right? That's so cool. So you can start adding up to 16 prompts to this list. On the higher plans, you can add much more prompts. I'm on the Titan plan. So, there's like hundreds of prompts available in there. I think I only have 19 in the one that I provided access or that I was going to share with y'all. I'll add some more to y'all afterwards, but that's how you build your list. And we have a tutorial. Go to our tutorials page. I'll just show if the links are not working in the chat right now, basically you can just go to AIPRM.com. You can come over to resources, click on tutorials, and you can see my ridiculous bearded face going through all of these different aspects of AIPRM. I go through how to manually install AIPRM. I go through how to add custom tones or writing styles, how to create your team, how to create a list, how to do live calling. Thank you so much for joining us, Jackie. There is no age limit for all these cool things that you can do with technology. So how to edit a prompt. And it's a great mindset too, Jackie, because it's like you're never too old to learn new things. And the people who actually get out there and do it and try this stuff themselves are the people who are going to thrive and live their best life. So don't be scared to try new things. So all how to create a prompt, as I mentioned, how to select and use a prompt. If I were just getting started with AIPRM, aside from watching this webinar, I would go through to this getting started with AIPRM. This is like my epic, like everything article. Like we go through everything here, setting it up, power continue, custom profiles, AIPRM everywhere, which I don't even know if I'm going to get to today because there's so many other cool things. And there are videos for all of these. I know we're all going to get nostalgic talking about technology, but this is a great kind of guide for going through a lot of the stuff that I've covered today. Now, it's really important that I do show you how to create a team. I want to make sure that y'all know how to do this. Yes, it's available in different languages, high style. So what you can do for all the public prompts is you can actually select the output in whatever language that you use. Now, transparently, ChatGPT and OpenAI works better with English because it's been trained on more, yep, Deutsch right there. Because it's been trained on a lot of English content, like the majority of its training data is English. So it makes sense that it would produce better English content. Oh, the tutorials. No, actually. However, that's a good call out. We should probably like build a prompt to translate them as best we can. I mean, I know Google Translate has still got its issues, but we can talk and see if we can find ways to translate them more effectively. But right now they are in English. I am sorry about that. Okay. So finally, doing the team, adding the team. So the way that you would do it is if you've added a list and this is your first list, you'll see the option to share with teams and you'll be able to create a team that way. The other option is if you do click this link to your AIPRM account, you'll see the option to manage my teams. And so that'll take you over here. And so to add a team is really simple. You just clicked add a team. You put in the team name, my marketing team. You add in, like what the description is about. You save it. And now when I go back to AIPRM and I go to associate a list with a team like this small business webinar list that I did, I can share it with my marketing team that we just created. So now it's connected, right? Now the list is connected with the team. So now when we go to the team, if we want to add a user and share it, so there are different settings for the teams on the paid plan. So for most, it's read only. Like if you are the one who leads the team, you have control over what prompt lists are accessible and how they can be modified. If you're not part of that team, or if you don't have read, write, or admin, then you wouldn't be able to change it. Only the main person. For people on the elite plans, have more access to read, write, and admin. For those who are installing it into their organizations, you'll want to get those plans so that you can have different managers or different departments administrate and edit the teams. So once I do that, read only, you can create the invite link, right? So in that case, now if I share this link with you, you would be able to access my team and my list. So in the, we'll go back to the team small business, which I've connected my list to. And I thought we were going to be able to share the invite. So let's add a user. Let's see if this works in the chat. I'm going to copy the link and hopefully y'all can join my team and get access to my lists. Fingers crossed, since I'm like running the webinar. I know we're almost at time. If y'all have to go, I do totally understand. We have been able to get through most of this. We will send the replay of this webinar via email to everybody. If you want to stay around and ask questions, I'd love for you to just chill out a little bit longer. I can be here for another 30 minutes. Okay, that link works. So y'all can access now all of my prompts that I shared with you on my list. Huge. So at this point, are there any questions? Okay, thanks for stopping by, Kristen. For those of you, keep your eyes peeled to AIPRM emails. We will be doing another webinar in a few weeks that goes more in depth into some of these custom tones and writing styles. What does AIPRM do to fight prompt drift? Okay, so Edwin, That's a great question. I think with ultimately a lot of these, prompt creations, there's not a lot that you can do. So what Edwin is talking about, folks, when he's talking about prompt drift, is there's a context window for ChatGPT. ChatGPT only has a certain amount of memory. And so if you're doing content in the same chat window, the same conversation, the longer you go, eventually ChatGPT will basically start to run out of memory and not remember what you originally started that conversation about. Thank you all for joining us who have to leave. Tibor can probably speak more to the ways to address that, but I would say the best way, Edwin, that we address prompt drift is via our custom profiles, which you can continually add in via custom continue prompts, like power continue, and then also using your tones and your writing styles. You can see the link. The link is, I'll do it again, Evelyn. There you go. Hopefully that works. That's the link with the access to my team. What is the benefit of AI for boomers? Hey, Jackie, I am not going to put you into a box and stereotype you in terms of boomers. I think ultimately the benefit of AI is going to run the gamut. We are at the beginning of what this technology is capable of, right? Whether it's generating content and text like blog posts and social media, to ultimately, I don't know if anyone here has seen the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix, but ultimately having a personal AI assistant that can use real information and do things for you that would normally take you a long time to do and research yourself. When is ChatGPT going to update info gathering to current versus 2021? Nick, I honestly don't know if they're ever going to update their training data. Your guess is as good as mine. The way I would pay attention to this is as these large language models start to do more internet retrieval augmentation. Our CMO, Mike King, did this really great Friday AI video series on the AIPRM YouTube channel talking about retrieval augmentation. Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Jackie. In terms of the way that like the technology behind these models and how they can access the internet to get information that's more current and contemporary. And that's going to improve. They have to build algorithms and processes so that they can do this. But the training data, like we don't know. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, has indicated that, future versions of ChatGPT, of the transformer model, may or may not make huge steps in terms of the quality of these. Now, they're probably doing training data, but I don't know when that's going to happen. What prompts do I recommend for building a local SEO Google Business Profile Management Agency? That's a great question, Casper. So I think my recommendation is definitely type in local SEO and Google My Business. What's interesting to that point about the training data in 2021 is ChatGPT doesn't know what a Google Business Profile is. It's actually changed since the training data. So you need to go in and tell ChatGPT to replace Google My Business with Google Business Profile. And a lot of the folks who have built those engineering, the prompts for that, have taken that into consideration. I would look into categories selection. I would look into short and long product description or business descriptions, Casper, for local SEO. I would look into ideas for Google Posts. Even though that won't actually boost your SEO, I think the visibility is really important. One underrated tactic that I would recommend for local SEO, which isn't technically local SEO, Casper, is writing email campaigns asking customers for reviews. Having worked in local SEO in the past, reviews matter a ton. So getting 5-star reviews and asking for those reviews is going to be really important for your visibility. And one way that ChatGPT and AIPRM can help, and I actually have this prompt in that team list that I shared, is creating an email campaign for review requests. So that's another way that I would use AIPRM and ChatGPT for SEO. One other way, and for all of those who are staying around, I really do appreciate it. I'm going to show you a really cool feature on our Plus called AIPRM Everywhere. So let me go back to my chat. So Casper, if you want to give me an example, you're in Germany, right? Like, I'm going to do an example for a local HVAC home services. This is on Yelp, right? See you, Nick. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it, man. You're welcome, Jackie. Awesome. Awesome. How do you locate the provided prompts? So DJ, now you've joined my group, you should see it in the lists. You should see the list tab with that's connected to, let's see, if I refresh this, it should be the My Marketing team. No, it's My Marketing Prompts. That's the list. Boom. Okay, so one way you could use it, this is really cool. I've been playing around with this, Casper, is if you have a lot of reviews and you want to do research, what you can do is actually sort your reviews on like any review site. So this could be Google, this could be Yelp. So I'm going to filter by 1-star reviews, all my bad reviews, right? We don't like bad reviews, but it happens. I'm actually going to copy as if I was going to copy and paste all of my reviews. And then with AIPRM, what you can do is you can right click and go to this AIPRM everywhere. And so what this does is it actually takes the content that you highlighted online and it allows you to apply your favorite prompts to it, your suggested prompts to it, live crawling prompts, and even custom prompts. So watch what happens when I take this content and I'm going to go over to custom prompts. So I'm going to write a prompt based on the content that I pulled, right? So there it is, all in there. I'm going to say, analyze these reviews from my HVAC business and highlight the top 3 things that I need to improve. This is pretty cool, right? So let's see what happens. It's taking all of this. This is AIPRM. All you need to do is right click, or if you're on a Mac, control click, and the little context window will show up and allow you to do this. Does everyone on your team need a premium plan? No, everyone can access this regardless of what plan they're on. The premium plan is for the person who's making the teams and getting access to the amount of people that you're sharing it with. So check this out. How cool is this as well, right? Like, so basically what it's done is it's looked at all these 1-star reviews on our Yelp page, and it's summarizing and analyzing what are the major issues from these 1-star reviews. So then we can take that, let our service team know, let our product team know, and ultimately improve our service. And just think about the ways that you can do that. You can do that for, your website and improving the copy, or analyzing the competitor. Say I've got a competitor that's, in real estate near me. Okay, so somewhere in Virginia, we're going to find real estate. Okay, we'll find what's someone who's actually, let's try a realtor near me. I guess I could have, I can't even spell today. Realtor. Okay, we'll go over to Yanya. She looks really nice. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to highlight her page. She's got some stuff in there. And then we're going to right click, AIPRM, and we are going to summarize. Is that what we want to do here? Yeah, we want to do that. I want to summarize her. I mean, obviously I could do a custom prompt, but it's going to take all the content. It's going to summarize. Okay. And so now you can start to see, the summary of AI. Hopefully she gets some business out of this. It's really cool. AIPRM's like ability to grab the context from the website and add that in. So how do you enable that AIPRM everywhere feature? So I mean, that is available as soon as you, so I should go back to our deck. So once you go ahead and add the pro account, that will automatically be accessible. Thanks, Jackie. Thanks for stopping by. That will automatically become accessible for you. So I'll go back real quick. For any of those of you who are in these various industries, we have blog posts that we've covered with step-by-step across all the different marketing tactics you'd want in professional services and real estate and restaurants and consulting services, even creators. I see the DJ is like knows the marketing aspects of it. Do you know of any prompts of where to find prompts for creative writing? Yes. So absolutely. Let's go back. So if you go back to AIPRM, you come to the public tab, right? You can search for script writing, DJ. So I went under activity, I went under script writing, and you can also use the search bar in the right-hand corner. But now, boom, YouTube script creator, short story script creator. A lot of YouTubes are on there, but I've seen ones for like TikTok. I've seen, we've got over 92 different ones. Back to live crawling is that standard feature on that's standard on our elite plan visible. So for instance, if I wanted to do, a script for YouTube, like how to change a tire, exploring the Himalayan mountains, training dogs for beginners, you can just go in here and let's say I want to do for, how to run a successful webinar. Because I mean, I don't need help running a successful webinar, but why not? So if I was going to make a YouTube video, this actually produces the entire script. And what I love about some of these is it'll give you like recommendations for images or stock video, your actual script writing, like the timing of all this, like beginning to end. Yeah, are y'all seeing this? How cool is that? And then obviously, with your skill set, DJ, you still want to go in and edit and add anything that you think would make this even better, right? So if I'm doing webinars, I'm going to talk about defining my objective, which is making sure you all had a good time. Success check. Knowing the audience. So marketers who are trying to, use AI and ChatGPT and AIPRM for your business. That's the audience here. Content, going through the content that's really interesting, like how AIPRM actually works in the wild, our technical setup. So I would go through how I'm using like StreamYard and YouTube, going through the promotion, like how I want to make sure I get it out there on social and send it to our email list and invite you all to come, the engagement, making sure that you all are participating, following up, feedback, etc. So back to is that okay? So for some reason, you're not finding all the prompts that you see that I have. Okay, so if you're not seeing those prompts, make sure that you are in public, that you either have like filtered it by the specific activity or topic. If for whatever reason you've already searched for something, and like if I put YouTube in there and then I go to look for something about like, writing a blog, it's not going to come in there. You're going to have to want to reset before you find anything. So that might be a reason that you're not seeing the exact same prompts that I have. So make sure your search bar is clear, that the topic is all, the activity is all, and then go in and do the searching to make sure that it is exactly what you're looking for. So I'm going to run. We went over by like 20 minutes. Don't worry, Francie, don't worry. We are going to email you the replay. I want to thank everybody for coming, sticking by, and enjoying AIPRM and all it has to offer. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me, garrett@ipullrank.com. Happy to walk through any prompts, talk AIPRM, talk AI with you. I love geeking out about that stuff. You can find me on Twitter at Garrett Sussman, GarrettSussman. Check out AIPRM.com to install the extension on Chrome for free. Doesn't cost anything. And if you want to start using some of those really cool features like live crawling and AIPRM everywhere, or if you're building out your list and you've run out of prompts, you can go and up level, and you can actually stack different levels of the subscription to add more prompts to everything. So thanks again. Can't wait for the next webinar to do it all with y'all. I love doing this. I love building prompts. I will catch you later. Check out our tutorials. Check out our YouTube channels. I go through a whole bunch of different other use cases for these. Y'all have a great rest of your day, rest of your week, and I'll see you later. Thanks everyone for coming by.